This is Yard House Restaurant, which has one of the liveliest bar scenes of any chain restaurant you can think of, and their bar program is one of the biggest reasons that they boast a massive per unit average of $8.4 million per year. That's per location. So in this video, I'm gonna give you the blueprint that you can use to create your own bar program, including cocktails, beer, wine, and even food, because a good bar program is the #1 driver of profit and atmosphere in restaurants. All right, so if your bar is boring as waiting in line at the DMV, we're gonna change all that right now, okay? And we're gonna use this simple formula: base products, seasonal products, and novelty. I'll explain. By the way, I'm Dave Allred, the Real Barman from barpatrol.net, and I've been in the bar and restaurant industry for more than 3 decades. This is all I do. Okay, here we go. Starting with the cocktail program. Why does a cocktail program matter? Well, liquor has the best profit margins of all the alcohols, and cocktails, when created and priced correctly, have 75 to 85% profit margins. Okay, so here's your cocktail program blueprint. We're gonna keep this all as simple as possible. I want you to sit down with your bartenders or your bar manager, whoever has that cocktail literate intelligence, okay? And I want you to create 4 to 6 signature cocktails for your menu, and then brand them with the theme of your restaurant, okay? Or we used to do this. Each bartender could come up with a recipe and they name it after them. This gets them involved. It gets them very excited, right? For example, Adam's Smoked Manhattan, Heather's Sunkissed Peach Martini. Okay, you get the gist. And like I said, make sure the cocktails align with your theme. Okay, if you're a whiskey bar, don't put a bunch of tiki rum drinks on your menu. Okay, that's just common sense, you numbskulls. All right, don't forget to use the internet to do your cocktail research. Okay, there are thousands of cocktail recipes online that have already been created. Okay, you can easily use any of those or modify them with a twist of your own. In fact, I'm gonna let you in on a little secret here. If you haven't used ChatGPT to do things in your research, do it here. Okay, prompt it with something like, please give me 20 amazing and unique whiskey cocktails for my cocktail menu. If you don't like any of those, just say, give me 20 more. Find some fun and unique cocktails. Those are your base cocktails. Okay, next, create 3 seasonal or rotating cocktails. Okay, for example, in the fall, you might have a pumpkin spiced old fashioned. Summertime, you might have a watermelon margarita or some other refreshing fruit drink. Create 3 for each season, 12 total, so you have them ready to rotate. Okay, better to do them all at once so you don't have to scramble at the beginning of each season. Or worse yet, it's November and you still have your summer watermelon margarita featured as your seasonal cocktail because you forgot to change it. Okay, those are your seasonal cocktails. Okay, now comes the novelty. And this one's important because novelty creates a lasting impression and memory of their experience, which they will share with others. So you have a variety of options when it comes to novelty, such as a shareable drink, like a fishbowl or a volcano bowl or a giant pitcher of sangria. Or like we used to have at my bar, the big ass mule. People loved it. Okay, number 2, flights. People love flights because it allows them to sample different cocktails without having to order a bunch of large ones. So you could provide a flight of flavored margaritas or whiskey flights or a flight of Moscow mules, like a vodka mule, a bourbon mule, tequila mule, etc. All right, 3, the container itself that the cocktail comes in. Okay, we just mentioned Moscow mules. People get excited about copper mugs. Okay, but you could have tiki mugs if you're in a tropical place, mason jars, branded steins, anything like that. Okay, 4, the presentation. Okay, I mentioned a smoked Manhattan earlier. You can get a smoked bubble gun or bring it out in a covered glass dome already filled with smoke with a cocktail inside. A very cloak and dagger, creates curiosity. Okay, you could serve boozy milkshakes, colored glow cubes. Okay, you get the point. Novelty is a key ingredient to your bar program because it's memorable. It's shareable on things like Facebook and Instagram. It gets people talking about it outside your restaurant to others, and it gets people to come back again and again because it's a unique experience. Now you're creating regulars, which is the end goal here. Okay, and before I move on, I want to make sure that you don't get overwhelmed here. You don't have to implement all of this at once. Okay, I'm just giving you a bunch of ideas so you can get started. Okay, even implementing a couple of these ideas will have a huge impact on your bottom line. All right, next up, beer. And people love their craft beer, especially on tap. So if you have tap handles, great. If you don't, do your best with a bottle. And I'm not sure how many taps you might have, whether it's 6 or 60. So instead, here's a percentage breakdown of what you should carry on draft for your beer program. Okay, 40% should be local or regional craft beers. Hopefully you have some good ones in your area, or at least somewhat close to your area. 30% should be crowd pleasers. Traditional beers like Coors Light, Modelo, your best IPAs and ales like Sierra Nevada. Okay, 20% should be rotating and seasonal or limited releases, and 10% should be what I call adventurous or rare selections. People love these. They get very excited about it. Okay, find a good mix of your beers instead of just carrying all the big brands. People can find those anywhere, okay? But you want them coming back to your place, so you need a memorable variety. Have a beer selection that gets people excited, and if you have limited tap handles, carry an awesome mix of bottled beers. Okay, that takes care of the base and the seasonal for beers. For novelty, beer towers are great, along with flights like we discussed earlier. Also, creating a mug club gets people coming back again and again. Create something memorable that's unique and different from all the other breweries that they go to. Hey, on to wine. Again, I'm not sure if the type of establishment you are, if you're a dive bar or you could be a high-end Italian restaurant, but we'll assume that you're somewhere in the middle. Okay, you're gonna wanna carry anywhere from 12 to 20 brands of wine, covering all the major varietals. And if you don't know anything about wine, use ChatGPT. Okay, ask it to provide you with a list of 10 whites and 10 reds, including a range of styles. Provide the price range to ChatGPT that you'd like to sell them at, okay, from like $7 to $15 per glass. And they will give you a list. Okay, one trick here is to carry some wines on your list from lesser known regions. Okay, because one, it appears exotic and exciting and rare again. People love rarity. And two, you can charge what you want because most people won't have an expectation of what it should cost, as opposed to more of the known wines from areas like Napa Valley or Champagne or Burgundy. They drink those a lot and they know what they should cost. Okay, but from unknown regions, you can charge whatever you want. Okay, make sure you include a couple of sparkling wines or Prosecco, either by the glass or you can sell splits. Okay, I like splits because then the carbonation doesn't go bad. Okay, for novelty, look at the possibility of getting wine on tap. People love this. In addition, like we talked about earlier, wine flights, frozen wine cocktails, like wine slushies basically. And you can have a half-off bottle on wine nights. People get really excited about that. You could even do wine towers, okay, like beer towers if you'd like. Okay, and finally, nothing keeps your guests there in your place drinking and spending money longer than when you have tasty bar food for them to order. So if you have a kitchen, make sure your chef makes up a great bar menu with shareable apps like flatbreads and sliders and wings and nachos, etc., etc. Okay, in addition, having some late night salty snacks like popcorn or pretzels or nuts is fantastic for getting them to order more drinks. They've been doing this strategy since the 1800s. Okay, and for novelty, I'm going to lean more towards finding a signature bar dish or dessert that's memorable and shareable that people can't stop talking about. Okay, like here in the San Francisco Bay Area where I live, we have a restaurant called Original Joe's. It's very popular, and they have these zucchini fries that are out of this world. And when you walk in and look around, they're at like 80% of the tables. Everyone's ordering them. Okay, or you can have an unforgettable dessert like liquid nitrogen ice cream or fishbowl sundaes. Okay, it's totally up to you. Either way, everything you do should be created to create a memorable and shareable experience for your guests. Okay, here are some final thoughts for your blueprint to bring all of this together. First, you need to make sure your staff is trained in each area of your bar products and all of these programs so that they can speak about them and sell them intelligently. Okay, this includes your cocktails, your beer, your wine, and your food. Make sure they're upselling and mentioning these novelty and unforgettable signature items that you've created. Okay, this is key for making your bar program a success, so don't sit on your thumbs with this. Okay, train your staff. All right, next, make sure you are constantly posting all of your novelty and signature items on Facebook and Instagram, any other social media for everyone to see, and encourage your guests to do so too. All right, and finally, if your music and your lighting suck, all of this can be thrown out the window. Because people are going to be bored, it's going to be lame. So make sure the atmosphere of your bar is lively and fun so your guests want to stay forever. Okay, I hope this helps you get you going in your right direction so you can elevate your bar, your sales, and your profits starting right now. Follow the blueprint and you're going to be just fine. Okay, thanks for hanging out with me today. I do appreciate it. I'm going to see you next time. I'm out.